of the biggest challenges for you as an entrepreneur? Which particular area in terms of scaling your company or starting a company or building a team or funding where you had really struggled and you overcome that?
Yeah. So my, I mean, luckily, fortunately or unfortunately, I've seen both success part of it and I have seen failure part of it as well. So, every time when you go through these exercises, there is a lot of scar on your back. And even the success, it's not a straight line thing, right? You have to navigate yourself significantly. So let me take an example of what happened at Netscaler, which is more recent times. So Netscaler, the idea was conceived back in 98, 99 timeframe, where the growth of the internet, which was basically, growing at an exponential pace, this solution that was come up with is to address that internet growth. So in 2000, 2001, we all know that the bubble burst, and the growth of the internet was not the issue. In fact, I still remember in 2001, I went to Charles Schwab to meet with the CTO, CIO of the company, and I'm presenting the Netscaler solution to this customer. And the customer pulls out his chart saying, Mr. Jagadeesh, let me show you how I have built my infrastructure and where it is today. So the expectation in 2000 was, in 2001, 2002, right, if this is where the market is going to be, Charles Schwab, obviously, as a very high-profile company, has to prepare for that kind of a growth. So he has built, end of 2000 or middle of 2001, he has built his capacity to be where it was anticipated to be in 2002. The real market has come down more than 70%. Now, what do you do? So here is a technology that we have which is going to dramatically reduce the number of servers that you needed, right, as you scale. So the customer basically said, Mr. Jagadeesh, I don't need your technology to save servers. If you want, you can actually take some servers that I have. So you are in a situation like this. Now, what do you do, right? You're passionate about your company. You have raised some money. We could have just said, well, there is a market crash. I can basically take this stuff and then return the money back to my investors, which would have been maybe 50 cents on a dollar or whatever, and pack home, wait for the market to recover 2004, 2005 timeframe, and then perhaps come back. But we didn't want to do that. So we took an approach where, hey, we have some core technology. What can we do with this technology for the market that is emerging? We have some money. So we went to the investors and pitched this whole new concept based on or leveraging the technology. So the investors said, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Go ahead and try. So we put in another 12 months of R&D effort and brought this new product to the market in the middle of 2002, which became the flagship product. So even today, even after the Citrix acquisition, that is still a flagship product. 6 years later, right, company is still selling a product that was based out of that technology. And it's generating close to $225 million of revenue. It has created employment for almost close to 400, 500 people. And it's so touching when you talk to these people who are still with the company, when they say that, if we took a decision at that time to shut the company down, right, we would have lost a huge opportunity of, number one, meeting the needs and solving the problem for a customer. Number two, creating employment for so many people, both in the US as well as in India. I think, and thirdly, creating wealth for so many people. When the acquisition happened for $325 million, right, that basically translated into creation of wealth for so many people. That's what gives you that happiness and a satisfaction when you build these companies.
That brings me to the question of defining success. Success for entrepreneurs, especially in the technology arena, is measured by their exits, good or bad, whichever way you take it. If you're non-tech, obviously it is a must. You have to succeed. But there are some entrepreneurs here who have been doing it for almost a decade, and with the same passion and zeal and energy. We don't call them successful yet. What is your take on it?
So it's absolutely the right way to measure a success is based on a financial exit, because this is pure capitalism. We're talking about capitalism, right? Financial success is what actually translates, because there is somebody who's setting a value for what you have built. And that value, if it doesn't exist, if you continue to invest my time, invest investors' dollars to crawl, I call that more as a Chinese torture. In fact, several of the companies that I advise and I work with, right, when I watch some of these companies going into that path, I say, don't go into this Chinese torture mode. Either you figure out a way to exit, or you figure out a way to, scale the company. Figure out something that you are not in this Chinese torture mode. So my, recommendation to many of these guys is to see whether they can get an exit for whatever, because smart people will always find new ideas and new opportunities. And the market is shifting as well. So because if you have a company that you started 10, 12 years ago, the architecture of the product is very different. Technology has dramatically changed. It's not easy for you to migrate from architecture technology that you used 10, 12 years ago to today's technology, right? You're better off either shutting that or selling that company and restarting a new one, based on today's environment and tomorrow's problem. And I think an entrepreneur who has gone through these things with scars behind his back will figure out a way to succeed in the next one, rather than trying to make the same company successful.
Jagadeesh, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Appreciate the opportunity, and it's really wonderful to meet you. And we have always been wanting to meet, and I'm so happy we got this opportunity today to meet.
Thank you.
Thank you.